Hi, it's me again with Corel Roll Tips and Tricks, and somebody sent me this photograph. It's much like one I just did last week. A little bit of difference. I noticed this is like sticking in the cake, so that's a pretty cool design. You just need to figure some things out and how big it is and everything, but if you'll take your 3-point curve line, and we'll just start from like right there to right there, and we'll give it, you can actually hold down the control button and get a perfect shape. And then I've got my text written out because this is kind of on a bend. So we're going to go to text, fit text to path. And you see something's wrong. So let's back up here and let's take the shape tool and let's look at this. It's because my arrows are going backwards. So select it all, right click, reverse subpath. Now my arrows are going in the right direction. Text to path, and put it on that path. Doesn't really matter what, how you do it or what you do with it. Now we're going to go ahead and break the text. Well, sometimes you have to select the whole thing. Go up to object and break the text apart, and let's get rid of that. Do we want to get rid of that line? Or do we want to nudge it out of the way? Let's nudge it out of the way. We might need it later. So now, a couple of things you could do is, I'm going to left click, right click, and I'm going to go ahead and make it in red so it becomes a hairline. We do not have to weld it together because of the fact that it's going to be in the center, but we do need this kind of word in there. So let's go up to object. Well, you know what? I just learned this the other day. Let's go to object and shaping, and let's weld it. That way you don't have to convert it to a curve or nothing. And now some of those inner parts, and I would clean up some of those inner parts. The bad thing is you're going to have to glue these pieces back on. So if we go to object, break the curve apart, you could put that part of the eye right there, and quite possibly, if you weld it, you're going to get rid of the spots. So let's try like we did earlier. Go up to object, shaping, and weld. Nope, still got it because we've already broken into the curve. So in this particular case, I would just take the virtual segment delete key and delete that. And at the same time, I'd go through and fix this stuff, get rid of these nodes. Make it a little clearer font, and there's several of those things to do. Now, the only thing that's really different now is this is 2 pieces, so you will need to smart fill that before you cut it out. But we're not going to worry about that right now. Just smart fill, move them over. Let's go ahead and group all that stuff together. And now we're going to go to effects and contour, and we're going to contour to the outside, let's say 0.5 of an inch. We'll make our color in black. Whoop. I had it to the inside. We want to go to the outside. I didn't back up. I should have backed up. It's going to take just a second because there's a lot there. Whoa. Let me back up completely. Yeah, I had that earlier going from the center. So there we go. We need to go a little bit bigger so those pieces are touching. So let's go 0.7. And so now that's all touching and all good. We need to go to object and break the contour apart. And then if you'll get your contour and move it over, and then just move this over, and this is going to be your cut file. This, we can delete our line. We don't end up needing it after all. And then just figure out what you want to do, as far as how far you're going to stick it in the cake. Maybe my suggestion would be to take the rectangle tool, take another rectangle tool, go quite a bit in, turn that rectangle into a curve, and nudge these down. Well, you know what'd be better is let's grab them all and add some nodes. Yeah, maybe too many. Whoop, needed to back up. That way, let's get rid of all these nodes. Well, you know what? Let's keep the center one as a guide. Look at that. And it made our point. Now, at this time, you can go ahead and get rid of these nodes. You don't really, it doesn't really matter. And then at this time, instead of trying to figure out how weld and make it work, I would just do this. And then on the other ones, the same thing. You know, we could make them look symmetrical by copying that. But to copy it, you'd have to take a 2-point line and go from there to there. Fill that in with the Smart Fill tool, and you got the exact copy. Don't forget to take away that line. We're going to Smart Fill it again in a minute anyway. Then left click, right click, and let's 90 degrees, and then flip it, and we're good. And then bring that up into here. And that's what I was saying, it's much easier just to go ahead and use your virtual segment delete key. So, and you'd have to do all these measurements, but then I would definitely take my Smart Fill tool and fill that in, left click, right click, make sure it's a hairline so it'll cut. And then take your happy birthday, and on this particular deal, it's kind of like a gold. See if that worked. Nope, you can't really do it. So what we're gonna have to do is, and you don't have to make it gold, but so in the video, I'm gonna make it black. I'm gonna take the Smart Fill tool, and we almost kind of have to do this anyway to fix that dot over the I. And if I was gonna do this, I would actually weld those letters together. It'd be a lot easier to glue it on the acrylic. And then because we have, and this is just like cut out, so there you go. Pretty cool cake topper, I'll have to admit, I kind of like it. Now this, they added some gold embellishment. We'll just go over that real quick. What I would do, take a 2-point line, and you know what? Stop it like right there, and stop it like right there. And take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. Nudge it over. I'll tell you what, let's nudge it over. Let's nudge it down so we can see it. I would left click, right click, go up to, we've still got the contour of the inside, like 0.1. See how big that is? Maybe 0.2. I don't like, okay, see the rounded corner, because I had it set on rounded corners, so set it on square corners. It'll look like that. You don't have to break the contour apart. You could just Smart Fill that centerpiece. And this is gonna be your gold, whatever they have up here. Now, granted, they have a little bit of a curve there and I don't. And just do the same thing on the other piece. And it doesn't have to be gold if you have gold acrylic. Just don't forget to get rid of these lines so they will not cut. And then that way you could glue that on there, and it does kind of add to it and kind of tie it in. I hope that helped them a little bit. Thank you for watching.